case you guys are curious, there were 743 pages in Seder Moed. Why are we saying that we are finishing Seder Moed? Every other of the Seders we have in plural. As you know, it's Zerayim, Mazekin, but Moed is singular. That's it at the end. We went through 743 pages. Actually, this past weekend, I was at this Siyyum that they did the entire thing on Sunday, which I thought was pretty cool. Today's birthdays also, Terry Mulholland, 1963. 1987, U2 releases the fifth album, Joshua Tree, and in honor of Mike, 1998, Dr. Dre signs up Eminem. The most famous song for Eminem is To Lose Yourself. I think people, when they're learning the Gemara, that's something that they might do. Okay, so we're at the last few lines. I'm going to start from where it says, Amar Rabbi Abo, Amar Rabbi Elazar. So we're really kind of 7, 8 lines from the top and from the bottom. I'm not going to ask any questions or anything this time, Pastor. Okay. Amar Rabbi Elazar. Talmidei Chachamim ain't more shel Gehanim shel less as well. When you're a Talmid Chacham, the fire of Gehanim does not go anywhere near you. It doesn't rule over you. Why is it tzaddik already in the Gehanim? That's for another day. Kal v'chomer misalamandria. This is a kal v'chomer from Salamandria. Salamandria was a specific animal, as Rashi says. The animal was a chaya hanibras min ha'or. It was built from fire. Keshegoar and aged b'makam echad. Sheva shonim tami li haser. Okay, so it was this sort of this animal that chitoledet eishi. So its offspring was fire. Hesach mitama ein l'shvatim. The fire doesn't rule over any of this blood when you're doing as Rashi says, when you're doing that korban tamid. Talmidei Chachamim shekol gufan ish. If you compare the salamandria that doesn't have any sort of effect by the fire, and it's only a slight amount of his body is connected to ish. Talmidei Chachamim shekol gufan ish. Tefsiv halo l'chol dvarei ken ish nim Hashem halachas kam v'kama. So not the best kal v'chomer, I would say, the salamandria against this. Why is it that he only has it from the offspring? It's not really the most powerful kal v'chomer, but the message really is just to say that don't ever think that even when you're a Talmid Chacham, that you would, even if you were in Gehenna, that you would be affected. So it comes at Reish Lakish and says, Amar Reish Lakish. Now Reish Lakish, as you guys might know, was a was Baal Tshuva. He was a thief. He was considered one of the best robbers around. He finishes the Masechet Hagiga with Ein Ur Shel Gehenna Sholete Poshe Yisrael. That the fire of Gehenna doesn't even rule over the Poshe Yisrael. Now this isn't Lashon Sagi Nahar and anything like that. This is real. They are saying that if you are even a sinner in Israel, that the fire of Gehenna is not going to be affected. Which we just learned yesterday. That's how I was brought up here. We talked about how we do the mizbach. We had to clean every part of the different vessels from because of the Yom Ha'aretz post Yantif. And we talked a lot about the mizbach on that time. By the way, yesterday's daf on Tav Chaf it had 4 or 5 different mishnahs, and then quickly a Gemara. It was the shortest Gemara of all the Gemaras post the Mishnah in the entire Shas. It was 6 words on the back of Chaf and Alav. Ma mizbach, kal v'chomer mizbach hazav. Ma mizbach hazav she'ein alav ela ka'obei dinar zav. When we know that the mizbach hazav is just covered, it just has thickness of gold. Kama shanim ein ha'or shalatim. Whenever time you were doing things on the korban, when you were doing the would be worn away, never ever happened. It was such a miracle. Poshe Yisrael shemalei mitzvos karima. Even a sinner of Israel would have so much mitzvahs. Like a section of the Rimon are your temples. Al tikri rakasech, don't say temples. Ella reikanim shebach. Even the weakest ones, even the empty ones. Al achas kama v'kama. How much more so that they're not affected by the fire of Gehenna. So, as we finish Seder Moed and Masechet Hagiga, I just wanted to share one thought that I heard over the weekend at this Siyyum in Lakewood. Every morning we say a bracha, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Just think about what that means for a second. Well, other mitzvahs are commanding us to do physical actions. You're supposed to wash, or you're supposed to sit, or to light. La'asok means to keep busy, to be involved, to care. We don't act on the Torah acts on us. Why do you think the word is used, asuk, instead of to study, to read, or to learn Torah? Now this is a huge mitzvah. The word asuk means to keep busy with. We study Torah because it sanctifies our life, but we are asuk in Torah to help us discover meaning and purpose in life. Asuk, the Divrei Torah, isn't just learning, it's being involved in your friend's life. It's about checking in or seeing that someone cares when you're not high-fiving your friends. An asuk is someone giving up their time when no one else would show up. We're just picking someone off the floor and getting him right. A person that is asuk has that kind of mindset. That is Mike Dube. Mike Dube is as Mike does. Mike is about being busy, being involved, being asuk. This is an often used cliche, but Mike is about the giving, not about the taking. To people closest to him, Mike stresses character building as much as any strength or skill building. Allow me to share some quick two stories. Late Monday night, as I was having dinner with Mike and introducing him to some of my new friends and discussing the Russian crisis, Mike introduced himself and talked about his life in Englewood and the community, and then about sharing seats. Not about anything more that he was asuk with, but the stuff that he cares about. A month ago, we met two Lakewood guys that came to see us. These are basically rabbis or people looking to raise money. They asked me to bring down Mike to Lakewood for inspirational speeches at $1,000 a pop. They said, there is an energy to this guy that we never see in Yiddishkeit. Mike is not an energy vampire. Mike is an energy charger. But we don't need to look too far to see what Mike's done for Englewood, for everyone in this room, but even more so for their kids. You know, when Mike was sitting Shiva for his dad, and there was about 500 people waiting on Saturday night, you guys remember that? One of the parents that came over with his son said to me, I wanted my son to see his first Shiva visit ever with Mike sitting. It wasn't even a question. He taught my kids everything about being real, and he is my role model for my own kids. Then another parent told me the same thing. I know I might be getting personal here a little bit, but I can even see it with my own son Philip, who Mike works with weekly. Mike has changed his life in ways I can only have dreamed of before. Pretty good for a washed up YU basketball star. I might go out on a limb and say we don't need to feed his head, but I think Mike has had a bigger impact on the modern Orthodox community in the last 20 years than any teacher, rebbe, summer camp, or coach. Think about the size of shoe this man has on. What he does is being involved, being asuk. At last Siyyum Mike said, I'm in for Masechet Hagiga. I want to do it for my dad's memory. I mean, I was pretty shocked. Just seeing Mike take this Masechet so seriously and doing it was inspiring. It isn't a Moed Katan when we finish Seder Moed. This is a Moed Gadol for this minyan and for Englewood. It is a time for celebration. And I'm sure, like everyone, Mike liked the Acher part or Maser Merkava, but no thanks on the Tumah Tower and Kodesh. But last week, when Mike and I were together, he said, I'm all in going to try Yevamos. That's what this great chevra has become. A bunch of chavrusas and guys talking about the daf. Pretty nuts. Mike's going to come and say a few words and then do the Hadran and Kyle remember this night.
You just want to talk, I don't know. There he is. Hosting the Kavrat Sanya, community rabbis, especially in particular my Rabbi Block, thank you so much for taking time to come today. Goldberg Chavra, pro-vax, anti-vax, Brandon who's not here, and friends that just came for the bagels and lox. Hodu Hashem Kito Kiliolam Kasta. Give thanks to God for his kindness endures forever. A great quote that I saw yesterday reads, your energy introduces you even before you speak. This learning and all future learning is in memory of my father, Jeffrey J. Dube, Yosef Yehuda Ben Tzvi, who was physically taken from this earth 5 months ago. May his eternal soul be bound up in the gates of heaven. May he be a Melech Yosef for my family, children, and the beautiful life that I've been blessed with. Dad, I know that you are not the most learned of individuals. I don't think that we ever opened up a Gemara together. But your commitment to your temple that you were Gabbai in for decades was of legendary status. The great rapper Tupac Shakur said, "People die, but legends live forever. When you die, they won't remember your house, your watch, how handsome you were. They'll remember who you were. Be a good human, not a good materialist. Be humble and never think that you are better than anyone else. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return." I humbly stand up here today in front of the Chevra, who not only inspired me, but they gave me the motivation to start learning every day. I call them the givers. The happiest people in life are the givers, not the takers. Takers eat better, givers sleep better. I'm humbled to have learned, listened from the likes of Willie, who was the OG, not only playing a crucial role in the Goldberg Minion, but acting as the spark plug that ignited our Chevra to start learning the daf. Watching my good buddy Tzvi Rodman not only giving over a great daf, but learning the daf every day in shul, day in and day out. The scriptures say, who's honored? The one that honors everyone else. My good friend of over 30 years, Yaakov Attensasser, whom it feels like it was just like yesterday, that we were hanging out at your bachelor weekend in the El Conquistador in Puerto Rico. Thank God there was no social media, phones, pictures, or real cameras back then. Yaakov's last Siyyum put the bulb on in my head, and it's time to start trying to learn the daf. We're really all just links in the chain in the tradition of Judaism. My close friend Yossi Grumberg, who without the untimely loss of Irving Grumberg, Yitzhak Ben Zed, none of this magic would be happening. Make no mistake about it. The Grumberg Minion was one of the best things to come out of this pandemic in this community, whether it was the vid or was the Rona. We created a band of brothers who were all hungry to grow in the service of Hashem. This group was ready to do chesed, charity, and upgrade our spiritual beings. Last but not least, my close friend of 4 years, Josh Iceman Fighter Goldberg, who is a constant support for myself to add this into my daily toolbox. Josh is the last close friend in my circle that I made in the last few years, and I'm done. I'm more in the deleting stage than the adding contacts. Some people will judge you for changing, others will celebrate you for growing. Choose your circle carefully. Over the years, I've heard many people making Siyyums, and it seems like the only thing that I previously would get out of hearing somebody standing up here is Papa, Papa, Papa. I decided to look up exactly what that meant from the man himself, Rabbi Art Scroll. It says, Chanina Bar Papa was a very wealthy man who, whenever he completed a Gemara, he would invite people, especially his 10 sons, as well as the community, to a Siyyum with food and drink. As a result, he brought the glory of Torah to those around him. After finishing my first Gemara in over 15 years, I understand what it takes to complete one Masechet. I must say that it feels great to me. It feels like I finished the entire Shas. The key word in this equation was consistency, day in and day out. The great late Kobe Bryant said, consistency is more important than perfection. There were many times that I'd be learning, trying to understand exactly what was going on. But then, I realized that there's no exam, there's no grading me. I actually got to do this for the love of the game. And 28 days later, I get to store this in my spiritual bank. The way I look at it is that I'm about to hit the 5th chapter of life, God willing, in May. We all have bank accounts for money. We have for good deeds. We also have spiritual accounts. The more you build up those accounts, the more you get to hedge things in this lifetime. If a person surrounds himself with chesed, acts of kindness, he gets to fill up his chesed account. And sometimes in a bear market or in facing challenges or tribulations, he has to use up some of that account and redeem it. When I found out that my dad had cancer, the one thing I requested from the Creator was that if this is my dad's machala, if this is his plague, if this is his fate, I beg of you that he has no pain. God answered those prayers. When I asked my dad for mechila, he was still somewhat coherent. I let him know that I would do all in my power to keep his name and legacy alive. Kaddish was just the door opener. Every day before I learn, I say my dad's name out loud. Yosef Yehud Men's feet, and the learning is dedicated in his memory. And I take one day at a time, one daf at a time. In conclusion, the things that you do for yourself are gone when you're gone. The things that you do for others remain as your legacy. Mazel tov. Thank you. Is this the Hadran? Hadran Alav Masechet Hagiga, Hadran Alav Alav Masechet Hagiga, Daitek Alan Lo Yidishem Minach Masechet Hagiga Lo Tinashe Minan Lo Alma Hadin Lo Alma De Ate. Yotcha Benecha the Narla Vesheinu Shetehe Torsa Sefel Manutenu Balamazet the Te Manu Lama Ba Hani Bar Papa Rami Bar Papa Nachum Bar Papa Achi Bar Papa Abaya Mai Bar Papa Rafa Bar Papa Ravish Bar Papa Surcha Bar Papa Ada Bar Papa Doru Bar Papa Herav Narla Esther Resor Sef the Fifos Amcha Basis Shreva the Yer Kulana Nachum Tzeitzana Tzei Amcha Basis Shreva Kulani Deshrach Balom De Tortecha Mevet Tach Kimenu Mitzvosech Kiliolam Li Hili Bam Tamu Mechukech Laman Lo Evosh Biolam Lo Eshkachah Pikudecha Kibam Hitanu Baruch Adonai Lamdeni Chukech Amen Amen Selvaed Modi Manach Lachana Lemesenu She Santa Chalkenim Yoshve Beis Hamidrash Lo Santa Chalkenim Yoshe Karnos She Anamaskim Behemaskim Anamaskim Dre Torah Hemaskim L'Dreim B'Telam Anu Amilam Heim Amilam Anu Amilam Mekabel Scar Heim Amilam Ve'edam Mekabel Scar Anu Ratzim Heim Ratzim Anu Ratzim L'Chai Olam Haba Heim Ratzim L'Bar Shachash Shenem Vatal Lahim Torah Den Liv'er Shachat Anshe Damim Yuma Lo Yatzu Yimehem Ani Atach Bach Yirtov Nech Adonai Elohai Sha'am Sha'azrisenu L'Sayim Masechet Hagiga Kain Da'azreinu L'Hachil Mi Masechet Svarim Achareim L'Sayamah L'Nola L'Amei L'Shmol L'Asosa Kaimes Goldberg Tamataka Ba'ava L'Schus Kol HaTanaim Amarem L'Tamidei Chacham Yandu Mi L'Zare Shalo Thomas HaTorah Mipi Zerai Ad Olam T'Kayem Bi Behil Tel Lecha T'Necha Otach B'Shavcha Tishmor Aleh Ba'Ketzosi Hi Tishchecha Ki Vi Yirbu Yamecha Yosrein Alana Shanos Chayim Arech Yomi Ba'Yimina B'Smola Osher V'Komer and I Ozimon Yitain and I Barech Esamo B'Shalom.